back after I'm going to take my people who watch this life. You might said this tattoo. You got to never let people do that cool cheap. That's when the people of death have actually came to a country. That's a cool road, cool home, cool and your people here that against that sir, please. People here that please improve, sir, please. People talk to us, should talk to us, Lord. People here that please accept us, please. The land be fought. People here that please improve, sir, please. That should die. People talk to us, should talk to us, Lord. It'll be shining. It'll be shining. You're the one that most human beings. The person that most one cannot fail to confess one. The Christ frog is one who comes to great fall. The whole frog is one who comes down for it. It's whatever the acidic, the phone tree, who tells the earth is what the earth will accept. Whatever the big rat tells the earth is what it accepts. All what I tell you is five. Please accept. Good morning, Eastbound. We come together in order to praise Eastbound and to share our messages of Eastbound. We come to give you praise and we ask for your support to remove death and the sickness, litigation, with loss and content. Move all negligence from our lives. Please come and support us during this time. I say. Oh, shit, Orumila says, let us be thankful. I say we need to be thankful. They asked the rats to be thankful, and the rats asked why. Orumila responded because the food, feeding, and drinking, which you all enjoyed. The rat said there was no need to be thankful. Consequences of gratitude is the glorious death of rats. Orumila says, let us be thankful. I say we need to be thankful. They asked the fish to be thankful, and the fish asked why. Orumila responded because the food, feeding, and drinking, which the fish enjoyed. The fish said there was no need to be thankful. Consequences of gratitude is the glorious death of fish. Orumila says, let us be thankful. They said we all need to be thankful. They asked the bird to be thankful, the bird asked why. Orumila responded because gratuitous feeding and drinking which the birds enjoy. The bird said there was no need to be thankful. Consequences and gratitude is the glorious death of birds. Orumila says, let us be thankful. I say we need to be thankful. They asked the beast to be thankful, and the beast asked why. Orumila responded because gratuitous feeding and drinking which the beast enjoy. He said there was no need to be thankful. Consequences of this and gratitude is the glorious death of the beast. Orumila says, let us be thankful. I said we need to be thankful. They asked the human beings to be thankful. Human beings asked why. Orumila responded because of the choice feeding and drinking which all human beings enjoy. It was only human beings that said they thankful. I have come to show my gratitude. If you want to show benevolence, you must show gratitude. I have come to show my gratitude. Today we come to praise you and we ask for you to show, we ask for your benevolence towards us. And we will show our gratitude towards you. Thank you for all the goodness that you have done in our lives. Thank you for all the blessings that we have, that you raised up, that we have food over our head, that we have food in our refrigerators, that we have family to share time with, that we have work that we can go and do, that we have income coming into our homes. Father, we're thankful for all of the good things that we have done. Please continue to support us and bless us during this time. Ashe. Awa to pray. Awa to pray, awa to pray, oh, awa to pray, awa to pray, now, oh, Lord, to my, awa to pray, awa to pray. I want to pray, oh, I want to pray. I want to pray, now, oh, yes, I want to pray. I want to pray. I want to pray, oh, I want to pray. I want to pray now, I want to pray, oh, I want to pray. Okay. We have come to receive our blessings. We have come to receive all blessings from Olodumare, from our Ori, from the Iromona, and from the Orisha. Let us give thanks. It was so neat to found the without to be difficult to consume. This was the podcast for a the child of violation. He whose attitude was full of bad character. He whose bad character was not expected. He thought, we ask for your patience. We thought we asked for your patience. Please overlook this provocation. We come to beg on behalf of these people. In God responded that those who come to beg on behalf of the those who come to solicit on behalf of the how many children does God have that he would cast one out? Those who come to beg on behalf of the children. Father, we come to praise you this morning and we ask for your support. We ask for your forgiveness for any challenges, any wrongdoings that we have done in our life. We ask for for your blessings over us and forgiveness for all the challenges that we may have committed that we do not know about. We ask for the blessings and we ask for your support and forgiveness for the blessings that were done in the past that we are now trying to bring goodness towards. Please come and support us during this time and bring goodness into our lives. Orang Gumetu. Hey, Pao, the king who molds human beings, the king who molds human destiny, the king who supports and assists human beings, the king who molds human character. The king who molds human beings is named into Orishana. The king who molds human destiny is named into Orula. The king who supports and assists human beings is the name given to one Ori. The king who molds human character is the name given to Orishana. Or I'm doing Benji, I call you by your formula, which is known as Hey, Pao. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life and one's life to be fruitful. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life and one's life to be rewarded. Please come and help me organize my life. For it to be blessed as well. For it to be blessed with children. For it to be blessed with all the good things of life. It is impossible to see the depth of the sea. Do not let human beings see the people in me. It is impossible to see the depth of the river. All that we are doing, let us always look towards goodness in our lives. Or I'm going to be calling by your formula, which is known as Hey, wow. Please let all of our matters be fruitful and rewarding. Father, we come to pray to you this morning and we're asking for your support to bring goodness in our lives. This is the time that we have now given you praise. We have now given you thanks. We have now asked for your forgiveness. And now we ask for the things that we need in our lives. We ask for your support to give us long life. We ask for your support to give us wealth. We ask for your support to give us good spouses. We ask for your support to give us good children. We ask for your support to give us leadership in all that we do. We ask for your support to peace of mind. We ask for your support in all of our endeavors. Please come and support us during this time. Now let us send our prayers to the house of Hashem. Oh, say to her, I never feel to be trusting this. I mean, we used to take it. Has enough to take it, taking it home. It's my head is literally back up on Buddha. I was on the spiritual mission to eat the Buddha. We call the local team center and pay some money for the commodity. We call on Osha La, who is a good out. Osha La, please come and support us. I take anybody side. The actual start the street, the one who has to be popular, the woman is going to see Kibana and share. There's an our witness that we shall be wealthy, we shall surely be wealthy. I take anybody side in the mouth of our witness, I see by not sharing the mouth of our witness. There's an our witness that we shall have good stuff, we shall certainly have good stuff. I take anybody side in the mouth of our witness, I see by not sharing the mouth of our witness. There's an our witness that we shall have good children, we shall certainly have good children. I take anybody side in the mouth of our witness, I see by not sharing the mouth of our witness. If an owl says all he read life will be here, we shall certainly have all he read life. I think anybody shall in the mouth of an owl, because I think I'm not saying in the mouth of an owl. As we finish our prayers, to send our prayers to the house of God, say we ask for your support to the death and for the gates of loss and tension, all negative in our life. Please bring goodness into our lives. Please support us in all of our endeavors as we move forward, that we may have the teachings of the God to support us with all challenges. Okay, that's it. Ashe Orisha, Ashe Orisha, let me. Bobo Timo Papa Omeo, Ero Mole, Opa, Ipa Opa, Ashe Orisha, let me. Ashe Orisha, let me know. Ashe Orisha, let me. Bobo Timo Papa Omeo, Ero Mole, Opa, Ipa Opa, Ashe Orisha, let me. Maybe I say the reach to manifest in my mouth, I say the reach to manifest in my mouth. All that we do and say in our prayers, if I teach up the force, I say of the reach to manifest in my mouth. Demo, Duro, Demo, Dure, Timon Tere, Timon Sure, Timon Tere, Timon Sure, Timon Joko, Timon Sure, Tere Timon Sure, Timon. Whether I stand up and pray, whether I kneel down and pray, whether I sit down and pray, uh, may all my prayers be heard by my Ori. Let's all hold our heads. Orieni laureni orieni laureni mojiloro mofo mori orieni laureni orieni laureni orieni laureni Motilo, Fiawa Mori, sorry, Ori, Laure, once Oris, once charms for all success. Once Oris, once charms for all success. When I wake up in the morning, I hold my head. Once Ori is once charms for all success. Say, Popo Iregita Ifao Paolo Atibatiadu Ifao Paolo Ose Auela Efatipo Bopore Reatadu Ifao Paolo Adibadadu Ifao Paolo Oshea Urela Evatiko After we are coming now to our morning prayer. We're asking for your support. So let us hear these messages. Let us find ourselves in a place of humility where we will continue to grow and hear the messages of Ifa so that our lives will be blessed and supported by Ifa and the Richards and all that we do. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for, again, allowing us to be here in your home. We appreciate you very much. And we are thanking you from the bottom of our hearts. We thanks you for having us come together and do things. And as if we remember the messages, I think I shared this with Baba, the messages for the next 4 years that we had cast in November. Yes, it was important that we try to do things together. We try to do things in groups. We try to grow as groups and use Ifa's knowledge to help better those around us and ourselves, right? So, good morning. My name is Anthony McFarland. I am the head owl with Okamaso Day Temple here in Miami, Florida. And today's message is something that sort of has been on my mind, and it's entitled "A Good Leader Welcomes Ire Blessings." We have many different leaders in our lives. We have leaders of our country, leaders of our state, our town. We have leaders of our school, our work, right? We may be leaders of our communities among our friends. It's not just one position, but people show up as leaders in many different aspects of their lives. Let's see if we can test. Testing. Test. Right.
Oh, and the water turned off right there.
Oh,
is it connected?
test. It might be. See, test 1, 2. This is what it's turning on. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. There we go. All right. Try to face it. You can face it this way so it doesn't get any feedback. Yeah, face it this way. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. So we're getting high tech here. So hopefully it comes through nice and clear. So again, a good leader welcomes in Ire. blessings. And so we need to think about leaders in our lives, the people that we move with through our lives, the people that we support, the people that we want to be as our leaders. Uh, it would be wonderful if we all lived a life where everyone was a leader, but we know that can't be the case, right? And it's Olodumare set the world up like that. There are people who are leaders who rise to the position of being a leader, and then there are the ones that are the followers that support the leaders, right? And so we need to make sure that there's always balance within that spot to make sure that we're following the best people we can. So as we go through today's messages, I want you to think about three very specific questions, and I had to make sure I wrote them down correctly so that we can think about these. One, what kind of leader am I following? And are they leading me towards blessings or destruction? Right? And specifically, I want us to reflect on the people you trust and the influences you allow in your life. Are they guiding you with wisdom, compassion, and humility? Right? These are the things we need to think about. Number two, when given the opportunity to lead, whether in my home, community, or workplace, am I leading with kindness or am I letting pride and bitterness guide my actions? And number three, if I have made a mistake as a leader or follower, am I willing to humble myself, seek forgiveness, and walk a new path? Right. So those are the questions and things I want us to think about as we go through today's messages. So the first do I would like to have us recite. Please recite along with me. Is from the Odu of Iwori Meiji. Orumila declares that it is time to rest peacefully. I respond that all evil principalities must disperse. Orumila cautions us. All water throwers to throw away water with care and consideration, lest they wet an important visitor. I ask, what type of visitor? He responds, Ireaje. Well, I ask, what other type of visitor? He responds, Ireaya, spouse. I ask, what other type of visitor? He responds, Ire Omo, children. I ask, what other type of visitor? He responds, Ire Oye, chieftaincy. I ask, what other type of visitor? He responds, Ire Obo. Don't do that. I ask, what other type of visitor? He responds, Bobo Ire. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of Ire. So in Iwori Meiji, in this particular verse, the story is that Orumila calls together all of his disciples. He calls together all of his disciples. And he says to them, I want you all to hear this message, and it's that you need to be careful how you treat people that come into your life. How you treat strangers, right? And his disciples were asking him, saying, well, who are these strangers? As we just went through that aspect that of the verse. And so he lists the strangers and he says, I need for you to offer a bow so that when strangers come into your life, you'll be able to experience the goodness that they come to bring. Well, they again asked, but this is a very strange request that you have of us. Why should we just offer a bow for someone we might meet one day? He says, well, I want you to consider this. He says, before you met your spouse, were they not a stranger to you?
Yes.
Right? You had to get to know them first. Before you met your children, when they were born, they were first strangers, right? Before you had the job that you have, right? It was something that was strange to you until you got to know it, right? Orumila says everything in our life begins as a stranger. It's something that we do not know, we do not understand, we do not quite grasp or think about. And so in that case, you need to treat everyone and everything, one with a good character. With good character, you need to treat them well. You need to be kind. You need to treat them as good as you can. You know, obviously, if it's someone who is not going to treat you well back, then you understand. You know, maybe this situation is not for the best. But ideally, you want to move through life treating others well. And it says, it may be one day that someone comes to you, even if you're in a bad mood, you treat them poorly, that is a blessing that you're pushing away. Right? And that's the message that he's given us. Now, how does this relate to leadership? Well, our leaders need to understand that we are strangers to them and they are strangers to us. Right? When they make promises, when we make promises, right, it's important that they keep those promises to the people who support them. Otherwise, then we live in a life filled with regret, right? And that's going to be the consistent challenge. We've all seen the news when leaders have made grave mistakes, and then they end up paying for it and facing many different challenges in their own life. And so we need to understand that our leaders need to make room for the blessing to come into their life. Followers need to make room for the blessing of a good leader to come into their life, right? And so that's an important message. Everything is a stranger before it gets to us, right? So I'm going to give you the quote for this verse, for this message. I want us all to make room for our blessings. Can we all say that? Make room for our blessings.
Make room for our blessings.
That's going to be important. That's going to be important. So let us go to the second verse of today. This comes from the Odu of Osemechi. Osemechi. Please repeat after me. Their hearts are impure.
Their hearts are pure.
And their characters are nasty.
And their characters are nasty.
Even their ifa is unacceptable.
Even their thought is unacceptable.
That is why they are not invited into people's homes.
They are not invited into people's homes.
For them to cast ifa
For them to cast ifa
and offer a bow for others.
and also a bowl for others.
These were Ifa's declarations to Yerupe.
These are Ifa's declarations to Yerupe.
All right, so let's go into the story before we get to the rest of the verse. So this is a story about a Yerupe. It's a beetle type of bug. We should understand that Ifa messages and Ifa verses are written for many, many different things. Trees, the bugs, the animals, people throughout the stories. And so this Ifa's touch is everywhere. So we have Yerupe, who is going to become a leader in his time. Yerupe the beetle was interesting because he had a very kind character, very gentle when he spoke to people, very trustworthy amongst many of those around him. And for that reason, at the time when the kingmakers were looking for a new leader, Yerupe was an easy choice. And so with that, they got together, they called Yerupe and said, we want to make you, our next leader. He was so excited. He goes to have the podcast to find out how grand would his coronation be? How amazing would his ceremony be? Let's take a moment to think about that. What is he curious about?
Well, we talked about the party celebration.
Right. Yes. So he goes, and then the outlaws cast Ifa, and they said, well, Ifa says, you can't be someone who breaks other people's trust. You can't be high-handed with your leadership. You have to be someone who is caring and continue to be gentle and have the expectations that the people, have seen. He says, I didn't come here for that. Right? This is, and then as a matter of fact, he got so upset, he found himself storming out of the Abu's house. He's like, I don't need this. I'm going to move on. So here comes the day of the coronation, and everything goes through. The coronation is very nice and everything. But what we didn't understand, or what wasn't made clear, is that Yerapay had some sort of hidden feelings of anger towards many people in the community. He never showed it before, but now he was in a position to
that's scary.
Yes, to show his payback. Scary. Right. And so he finds himself, as soon as the coronation was done, the beetle has this sort of dust that gives off as a source of like fight or flight type of deal, and causes itching. And so he started to release his dust on the kingmakers. The kingmakers were itching like crazy till they took their clothing off and were completely naked and embarrassed. Right. So this continues to go on and continues to happen, where he starts to treat everyone extremely poorly. He's angry, he's upset, he's doing so many negative things to the community that the community's hurting him. The people are beside themselves. They were like, how could they choose such a leader? How can this happen? There's so many questions, so many challenges. But the people, the followers, didn't give up. It's like, there's only one ahead in all of us. Let us take care of this. Unfortunately, for Yerake, the followers decided to use fire as their source of repayment, which ended up taking the life of Yerake. And so Yerake found himself now in a place where he was no longer amongst the community, and the community was very shaken and distraught. But that is the story of Yerake. So we have a few things to think about here. Or actually, let us finish the verse before we move on to the talk. So please repeat after me. Their hearts are impure.
Their hearts are impure.
And their characters are nasty.
And their characters are nasty.
Even their Ifa is unacceptable.
Is unacceptable.
That is why
That is why
they are not invited to people's homes.
they are not invited to people's homes.
For them to cast Ifa
For them to cast Ifa
and perform Elo for others.
and perform Elo for others.
These were Ifa's declarations
These were Ifa's declarations
to Yerepeh,
to Yerepeh,
offspring
offspring
of the owner
of the owner
of 16 rooms
of 16 rooms
with big backyards.
with big backyards.
When planning
When planting
to assume the position
to assume the position
of authority in the forest,
of authority in the forest,
he was advised to offer a vote.
he was advised to offer a vote.
He refused to comply.
He refused to comply.
Now, Yerepeh,
Now Yerepeh,
you lacked manners.
you lack manners.
Yerepeh,
Yerepeh,
you are not a decent being.
you are not a decent being.
When you were installed
When you were installed
into a position of authority,
into a position of authority,
you turned the whole community
you turned the whole community
into a deserted area.
into a deserted area.
Okay. So this story is very, very powerful. And this is where we have to really take a look at those who are leading us, right? Are they the same person they were prior to that position of authority? Right? Some people handle it well and some don't.
And through life, you could think of a lot of situations, in our age.
Yeah,
You could be like, wow, as soon as they got that
Absolutely.
position, that was it.
that's it.
Certain
Absolutely.
jobs.
Absolutely. We need to understand that not every leader brings us blessings. Yereke seemed like such a good person at the beginning that he had everyone fooled, right? He had everyone fooled. He had no thoughts, but deep down, he had his own personal agenda. we have to be mindful of those with their own personal agendas. And even as ourselves, we can't go through life living with our own personal agendas. If there are things that we want to accomplish, we should try to do it as best we can without thinking only about ourselves or how we can bring other people down. Right?
And if you mind me adding a
Please.
little thing,
Mhm.
like something I tell the kids all the time, you know, it's something to be conscious about. It's about our intentions. What are our true intentions? Because I believe that the root of evil, of good Iwa, Iwa Vele, is intentions. Like, what is our intention of sitting here right now? Why are we truly doing this?
Mhm.
You know, it should be to get the message of Ifa and to try our best to understand so Ifa can do its work inside us.
Ashe, yes, absolutely, right? And so that's what we will constantly have to have in our mind. I mean, of course, we will always have things in the world that we want,
Yeah.
right? But consider how you gain those things. Because in the end, you still have to go to sleep at night, right? You still have to maintain a family that loves you. You still have so many other things that you have to consider and you have to think about. And so the importance of controlling our ego, understanding the true meaning behind pride, not letting our pride take us to a place where we want to treat others poorly, right? Those are the things that we need to consider and need to always be thinking about. So that's the story of Yerepe. This the statement that I want to have for this verse. Pride comes before the fall. Repeat that for me. Pride
comes before the fall.
Let's think about that closely. That's going to be something that's important. So let's go on to our third verse. Our third verse. This is also from Moshe Meiji. Please repeat after me. Land on Iatri.
Land on Iatri.
Do not land on glue.
Do not land on glue.
This was the Ifa cast.
This was the Ifa cast.
For all birds.
For all birds.
Who were living in the forest.
Who were living in the forest.
They were advised to offer a bow.
They were advised to offer a bow.
Land on the Iatri.
Land on the Iatri.
Do not land on glue.
Do not land on glue.
This was the Ifa cast for Osin.
This was the Ifa cast for Osin.
Who was living in the forest.
Who was living in the forest.
And who shall be made.
Who shall be made.
The king of birds.
The king of birds.
He was advised to offer a bow.
He was advised to offer a bow.
Okay. So here we have a story of Osin, right? Here we have a story of Osin. What is interesting about this particular bird is that, as the verse explains, he was to be made king of all birds at the time. He's majestic, stood tall. He should be the king of birds. He's strong, he's fast. And so he finds himself in a place where he was elected to be king of all birds. But the way that he led was a little bit like Yerepe, except he wasn't necessarily harming anyone. He just sort of had his way of treating people like whatever he did was important and nobody else could share that. Right? And so Oshin, the first thing he did is he had a place at the top, the highest tree in the forest, and that's where he would sit and watch his kingdom. And he said, nobody else could sit here. This is my space. Right? Nobody else. You can't even visit. This is where I am. Everybody else, you stay down there for it. Whenever he had any special type of food, his favorite type of food, he would say, this is my favorite food. Nobody else can have me this food. This is for me. And the birds were like, what's going on here? This isn't the same leader we chose. What's happening? It goes on. Everything that was his watering hole, his space to be when he wanted to relax, everything. It was his. And so that pushed all of his followers to a certain place where they were just like, no. We can't, this doesn't make sense. Why is he doing this? Why, we should all share in everything that we have. So the followers got together to plot against Oshin. They decided that they would take glue up to his highest perch where he loves to sit and watch over the kingdom and place it right in his spot, cover it in glue.
So his name, I'm sorry, his name was what?
It's Osin. No,
Oh, who was blue? You were saying blue?
glue.
Glue.
They use glue to put in his sitting area.
Oh, okay.
Yes, where is his favorite sitting area. So that was their plot. Osin, yes. And so, but that night, the day that they had placed the glue, that night, he fell asleep and he had a dream. And the dream was that he was gathered up by his followers and was beaten to death. So as he woke up that morning, he quickly rushed to see the owl. The owl says, you cast Ifa, and owl says, it says here that Ifa says that you've been acting in a selfish manner. You've only been thinking about yourself and not those in your community. Because of that, your community is rising against you and they want to do great harm to you. You need to offer a vote. You need to have a change in attitude, a change in character, how you treat everyone else around you. You need to humble yourself as a leader and hear what they have to say and apply their wants to your leadership. Osin says, he offers a vote that without, before even laying out his materials, offered his vote as quickly as he could. He goes back to the kingdom and he gathers all the birds together and he starts to explain himself. He's like, I come to you to apologize. I come to you to let you know that I've been treating you all so poorly and that is not a way a leader should be. I want you to understand what is mine is yours. Let us share in the greatness of our kingdom. Let you have anything that you need, let me know. If there are challenges you're facing, let me know so I can support you. If there's any way that I can help you, please let me know. I'll take care of your families. I'll make sure you all have food, so on and so forth. The people of the community beside themselves. They're like, is this the same Osin that we just saw, days ago that we were about to set him up? And the elders of the town said to themselves, let's hear him out. He's telling the truth. Let's hear him out. And they said, the first thing that you can do for us is never visit that area up in the high space again. Right? Yes. Yes. And so he heard that message from the elders, and then improvement came. He was able to change himself. He was able to find the support of his followers in order to live and be a great leader for the people. So the best outcome in this situation was the change, right? Listening to the followers. To have a leader and to have followers is a partnership. It's not a one-way street. It's not a dictatorship. It is not a place where you say, no, you do this and I'm not going to listen. Because that leads to challenges. Right?
Yeah.
And so we have to be careful of those around us who want to dictate their beliefs to us, who don't want to hear the other side. Right? And I know we can all think about many different times when we've seen these things, right? Thank goodness his Ori was in the right place to give him that warning. Right?
That's the beautiful thing about Ifa.
Yes.
It shows you the same situation, but different decisions. The other one, because what kind of saved him here? You'd be like, Paul saved him. Yeah, but him kind of breaking down his pride and humbling himself helped him to do it, though. So it's actually his character. Because the other guy was like, I don't want to hear that. He just walked out, There's some people, or we put ourselves in that situation where we kind of been like that. But the second one now, that he broke his pride. He was like, do it both. Well, he actually got a dream too.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah. And that's, throughout many Ifa stories, and this is something I tend to want to point out to folks at times, is that before negative things will happen to us, many times it will reveal itself before it's about to happen.
Wow.
The body, the mind, the Ori, there's gonna be a warning. Whether we see it or not, that's the question, right? And so
Yeah.
in this particular place, Oshin, he received his warning. He could have ignored it. He could have ignored it, but he went to have cast. He went for his divine guidance, right? And that's the blessing that we have as Ifa devotees, is that we have divine guidance.
Yes.
We don't have to walk through life wondering.
Blind.
Right?
Blind.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have to walk through life wondering. We have divine guidance, right? So the message here for this story, right? The leader was able to change his ways. He apologized to his people. He made good on his promise, right? And the message that we want to make sure that we all understand is land on the Iya tree, not on glue.
Land on the Iya tree, not on glue.
Right?
One thing he said before you left real quick is that we were always, usually, especially as Ifa devotees, we're always going to get the message before that negativity comes.
Mm-hmm.
Land on the Iya tree, not on the glue. That's the
Yes.
message.
Yes. And that was his new space. I didn't mention that earlier, but that was the new space the elders told him. It says, now your new place will be here on the Iya tree. And so so now he was never going to go back to that old spot. We have to consider so many things, and the choice is ours. The choice is ours. The choice
We got the
belongs in the community, right? What will we do as devotees of people? How will we find our leaders? How will we either support or move those who don't have our best interest in mind out of the way? We can't do it with violence. So right? We won't be acting like the followers of Yarapay. But we can certainly act like the followers of Oshin. We can let folks know what it is we want as people. We should do it together, of course. Right? We're not trying to fight one-on-one battles, but this is what's interesting. And so the choice is ours. Even when we get to the position or opportunity to be leaders in our lives, how will we act? Right? How will we act when people see us in our work, moving around in the streets, at the grocery store? We all have a way of needing to move through life in some form or another in a potential leadership position. And it's just, as I said in the beginning, it's not someone who's always at the top. We have many different ways to lead. Many different ways to lead. One of the things I enjoy about the place that I work at, the school that I teach at, is oftentimes students will take the position of leadership when it comes to giving back to the community, where they need to create the initiative, and then they come to the adults and we try to support them as best as we can. Right? So there's so many different ways to lead in life. And so that's what we need to consider. What do our leaders look like? How will they lead us? How will we be leaders in our lives? How will we be leaders in our families? Right? I know as a kid, one of the things I thought about is my mom worked a lot. She was a single mother. And so I was home with my siblings. And my thought was this is like, somebody needs to make dinner. So I'm the oldest, so I'm going to make some dinner. I'm gonna try to so bad. Awesome.
And a lunch, he said.
Awesome. Right, but again, those are just different ways that we can move through our day in the different ways that we can lead. It doesn't always have to be someone who's leading the community. We can do it in our own way. So that is our message for today. Find good leaders, become good leaders, right, and support good leaders, as well as being good followers. It's something we seriously have to think about, because if a leader doesn't have good followers, then that also becomes a challenge for the community. Okay. Do we have any questions? Any thoughts or reflections? Questions?
All right.
All right. So today is Oshe Ifa, so we're going to give OB to Ifa this morning as part of Oshe Ifa and ask for Ifa support for this upcoming week. So Give us a moment and we'll get set up for that. Okay. Do you have a plate that I can borrow? And a knife for the oral bowl, please?
We do the ability.
What's that?
We do the
I can.
Butter knife is fine, you want to go?
Butternut, I need to cut the oral, so, I mean, I'm okay with that.
Give him a black. You want yeah.
So this is my crown container for the ones I take when I cast.
Just the plate of the knife?
Yes, please, thank you. Thank you very much. So everybody, first, let's take the Orobo, touch everybody's head, please. We've entered into a covenant with death, sickness, litigation, loss, contention, all negative things in life, and we'll use Orobo so that we do not experience death, sickness, litigation, loss, contention, all negative things. If I would come to offer Orobo as feeding material, we're asking for your support to remove death, to remove sickness, to remove litigation, to remove all negative things from our lives to support us during this time. Remove death, sickness, litigation, loss, tension, all negative things. Robo. If I please accept this Robo as feeding material. Share. If I remove that sickness litigation, bringing long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, all great to this time. Share. You look at way. If I were me, a lady put with 50 bigger jewels, my see trying to occur from here to offer you on behalf of all of our members here today for this is Adobun. Asking for God's some blessings to remove death, sickness, litigation, loss, contention, all negative things from our lives to support us during this time. Let us hear the message of having good leaders. Let us become good leaders in our lives, in our families, in our communities. Do the things that we can to bring goodness and to share the message and be involved with others. The other one is bring forth coolness. Coolness. I'm able to use coolness. These are the decorations of these five to the. I can't remember it. The elephant would bring forth coolness. With coolness, revelations could be made. These are the decorations of the five to Igun, the offspring of Jongo Lolo. He who sums upon honor burst into laughter. Wealth came trooping towards the owl in abundance. Wealth came trooping towards the owl. If we ask for your support to please accept this OB, please come and support us for this upcoming week, these next 5 days. I'm asking for your support for us to hear this message and to bring goodness into our lives. Okay? OB5, OB5, OB5. OB5. Edgy, we ask that you remove death, you remove sickness, you remove litigation, you remove loss, you bring in long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, all you ready for a life during this time. Oturos, he who drinks riches, he who minded to declares to be fought to Rani San. He who drinks liquor becomes wealthy. The owl drinks the liquor of success. Okay, so now at this time, we'll cut up the rumble and the OP. Because this is also a feeding of our body. Release ageless. Stop. What's that?
I don't need the OP.
No problem. Mhm.
I just need it to show.
Understood. Yes, adhere to the patterns of our body. Okay, here, take one of these. Shit. Yep. Okay, our robo OB has been accepted.